Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobby Pominville. I'm your reporter on the arts. I've been having such a fun summer with the arts. And I think I've got the whole package right now because I've got John Potter here from the Phipps Center for the Arts. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Bobby. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always one of my favorite interviews because I like to know what's going on at the Phipps, and I attend a lot of the events. And I just know there's going to be such exciting things for this year.
Well, you're in some of the events as well.
Well, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that, but yes, I guess you're right. Very nice. So do you want to tell us about the season package for the year and what's available?
I'd be happy to, yes, thank you. So I'm going to go through it rather quickly, and
Yes.
if you want to highlight any things, be my guest. But
Okay.
looking at the theater season, first of all, actually our season started in July. So we've done a few shows, but coming up is Making God Laugh. It's a rather new show. It's a poignant comedy that will be performed in September. It's taken from the Woody Allen quote, "If you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans." And so this is a look at a family over 3 decades of holidays and the plans that they make, and some come to fruition and others don't. Into the Woods will be our November show. That's we're calling it an adult fairy tale musical, which I think is rather accurate. It's
I
based
think
on the
that's
classic
good.
fairy tales.
And of course, I have to say, Stephen Sondheim's music and the way that show is put together, it's very entertaining. It's kind of a heavy musical in a way.
It is indeed. It is
But-
indeed.
But I must say, I'm ready for that kind of thing. I really like it.
It's a challenge for us. But,
Yes, and you're auditioning right now, I hear.
It's true. It's true. We've got a wonderful turnout. We're very, very excited about it.
Good. That'll be exciting for me to see again.
Then the next production in the series is Shrek Jr. The Children's Theater Company will be putting that on. And that is, of course, a musical adaptation of the classic animated film Shrek.
Yes.
And then in the spring, we'll be producing, again, a relatively new comedy called Glorious, the true story of Florence Foster Jenkins, who you may be familiar with, called The Worst Singer in the World. And it's actually very touching as well as very funny. It is indeed a true story of someone in the 20s, I believe. She sold out, it was the 40s, she sold out Carnegie Hall. And not everyone went to hear her beautiful voice, but
So you're saying she wasn't expected to do well?
well, she had an unusual voice.
Ooh, and you're not going to tell me anymore,
Well,
are
no,
you?
you'll have to come.
Oh, that might be kind of tough on me as a vocal person.
Well, I think
But
you'll
no,
enjoy it.
I haven't heard of that one, so that's an interesting introduction.
Actually, you can go to YouTube and view the real person. But that's just a little treat, a little tease.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to have to educate myself.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Looking at the music series, we have a wide variety of offerings. So Davina and the Vagabonds will start the season, and if you don't know them, blues jazz, they are just electric in performance, and a really, really hot group from the Twin Cities that's actually making a name for itself. They toured Europe this summer, so we're very fortunate to have them this fall. The Barley Jacks with Brian Wickland will return in January. Brian is one of the finest fiddlers around, and the band is no slouch. They're great musicians. They'll be performing both original and traditional bluegrass, Celtic, roots music. Just terrific performers. Then, for the first time again, Natalia Mostiva on violin, Tatyana Remenikova on cello, and Ivan Konev on piano. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
And they're from the university system?
Indeed. At River Falls, they are making their debut as the St. Croix Piano Trio, playing both Russian and European composers, and we're very excited to have them for the
And
first
are they
time.
all from Russia? At least two of them.
I believe they are.
Yeah.
Russia or the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lake Wobegon Brass Band will be returning in March. The British-style 30-piece brass band, always popular. Phil Cadidlo with Less Is More and Friends will be doing a musical tribute to music of the 60s and 70s. Phil was one of your students.
My former student. I mean, one of the most talented musicians I've ever had in elementary school. And I had him through 6th grade, and at that point, the way he could play the piano, so we featured him in a concert, but of course we had our singing too. But I just have loved that all through the years because he's right across the river.
Indeed.
And I've connected with him a bit again.
He's so proficient in a number of styles that really and a great guy. So
and just amazing that, you know, I taught with his father in the school district, and mother's an organist, and it's like the whole family went to school here. So it's great fun to have him back.
Well, his wife and his son will be
Delighted.
performing as well.
Oh yes, I have met the wife for sure. Well, that's going to be exciting for me.
It will. You, of course, are well aware that we have a restored Wurlitzer Theater pipe organ.
Oh, yes.
For those that aren't familiar with the theater organ, it really was an early synthesizer built in the 20s to accompany silent films. So it was meant to recreate the sound of an entire orchestra. John Lauder will be performing his Phipps debut. He is the staff organist of the Fox Theater in Detroit. He'll be playing in October. Ken Double returns for a holiday concert, and he'll also be accompanying the short silent film of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, wonderful.
Indeed. We've shown that a couple years ago. And then Dennis James, another very popular organist, will be returning, accompanying a full-length feature film of Peter Pan. Just a gorgeous film.
Oh, that would be wonderful too.
And I think that was only released in maybe the past 15, 20 years, so it's a relatively new release,
it's the new
totally
version.
remastered of the film from 1924. So
All right.
we've never shown it before.
One of my favorites, Peter Pan.
I think everyone's favorite.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just that story of the boy who wouldn't grow up. And then there's all these supporting characters. And then the music, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful story.
Looking at special events, this fall we have an evening with comedian Scott Novotny. Scott will also be bringing along some of his top-notch local students. He has taught a stand-up comedy class, of all things, for the last several years, and has just some great, great students that he'll be featuring in the show, as well as he will be the featured entertainer. Born on the Bayou, a tribute to Creedence Clearwater Revival, will be at the end of October. That's Justin Plouffe and the Throwbacks will be doing that tribute show. And then the Phipps Festival Chorus will be performing its annual holiday concerts in early December.
Yes.
St. Croix Valley Symphony Orchestra, under the direction of Dr. Kristen Chernahoy, will be performing a Christmas extravaganza. That'll be their Phipps debut as well.
Right. A first for the Phipps.
And then the White Sidewalls, a very popular group that will also be making its Phipps debut in January, will be performing Love Potion number 10, the musical, which features the great rock and roll of 54 through 64. And then another ensemble that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
And in fact, I assume you were with them from the very beginning, the Phipps Oratorio Society, which has now changed its name to the Phipps Choral Society. And,
Yes, I was aware of that.
well, my understanding is that that's to broaden their programming a bit.
Oh, yes.
They'll be performing Bach, Brahms, and beyond in the spring.
Oh, that's going to be wonderful.
Indeed.
Two of my favorite composers.
And the Barbary Coast Dixieland Show Band returns in June. That's always a sellout. Outstanding musicians as well as entertainers. And I probably shouldn't even mention this, they're bringing a guest vocalist for a couple of the numbers. So,
Ooh, somebody from the area?
no, not from the area. A former vocalist with the Harry James Band.
Oh, my. Well, that's going to be interesting.
Indeed.
And so many special events.
We do, and in fact, that's the special events that we have on the series, but we have, but wait, there's more.
I think
we have
so.
even more. So a couple of different things. The traditional New Year's Eve shows will be Colleen Ray
Oh, yes.
and the brothers and sisters Grimm. So this is the first time in many years that her entire family will be performing. We've got her sister Debbie O'Keefe
Yes.
from Hudson, and then
Yes.
also her 2 sons and her 2 daughters. Some may recall that her son Reed was on American Idol, a couple years ago, a couple seasons ago?
I recall
And
that.
he will be returning. So it should be a really, really fun show, ranging from country to pop to Broadway to jazz. So
Wonderful.
extremely talented vocalists. And we're actually going to have 3 shows, 1, 4, and 7 p.m. on New Year's Eve this year.
That's amazing because that fits everybody's schedule.
I hope so.
I think you've done a really good job on that. Yes. It's,
And then
it's perfect.
we have the Phipps Children's Theater performing several other offerings. And this year, for the first time, we've created a season ticket package just for the 4 productions by the Phipps Children's Theater. So I'll just mention those briefly. Snow White and the 7 Fairy Godmothers, which, as you can imagine, is a bit different take on the classic story, will be performed this fall. Junie B. in Jingle Bells Batman Smells will be performed as the holiday offering, and that's based on the Junie B. Jones children's book series. And then we'll be doing Shrek, as I mentioned, in February. And then Pinkalicious, the musical, will be performed next spring. Pinkalicious is based on, again, the children's book series. So very excited about our new season, and again, it's in a package form that we haven't done before.
Now, is there an extra musical this year? Do you always have 4 offerings?
We always have 4 children's theater offerings, yes. And then
And that's to cover all the ages, pretty much. Right?
it is. In fact, I was just going to say, so this year, we always do, or at least for many, many years have done, a multi-generational holiday show.
Oh, yes, I like
So adults
that.
are in that as well as grade school children, and that really does cover a broad age range. But we're doing the same thing with Pinkalicious.
Oh.
There'll be an older and younger cast for that in the spring. So we're changing it up a bit.
That's very nice because we do have a lot of talented parents out there.
Indeed.
And sometimes it's fun to see that there's children and parents in the same family.
It's always a good time.
So I like that.
And then one last thing I would mention for the performing arts is that we'll be having a Reader's Theater production of Radio Days 2, which is a sequel, if you will, to Radio Days, which Paul Ashwood put together a couple years ago.
Oh,
and
yes, I was there.
we'll be doing that again with all new classic radio scripts. So it'll be actual scripts from the 30s and 40s.
Oh, that was so entertaining.
It is.
And what fun to see the old days coming back.
Well,
I'm glad he's doing it again. Did he write it?
he didn't. He compiled it.
He compiled.
So he chooses the scripts, and then he'll be directing it as well and staging it.
I know my husband loved that.
That's a very fun show.
It was just delightful. You just felt like you were going back to those days, and I'm thinking of your parents growing up and everything. That was fun.
Indeed.
I enjoyed that. Good. So now what did we miss?
Well, we haven't talked about classes, and we haven't talked about the visual arts, but you'll have opportunity to do that with others, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, I will.
And then you recently talked to Mackenzie Lewis about the dance program.
And I saw her program on the Oscars Saturday, and it was so phenomenal. And I must mention the Capitol campaign and what you've done in that theater. The LED lighting, outstanding.
It's exciting.
The sound system, so much improved. And I don't know, I was so impressed when I was sitting there and I was thinking, now wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I thought, it's part of the Capitol campaign.
It's very nice to hear. That's very true.
So it's a big improvement.
Well, Very nice to hear. There's other things that we've done that you either will be seeing in the near future or in a year or two. So the Staging Our Future campaign was very successful. We raised $1.4 million for various capital improvements, including a new ceramic studio. Then we have LED lighting in both theaters. We have a new digital sound system in the main theater. We have new seating in the Black Box Theater, which many folks will be very thankful.
I didn't know that.
to see that. We have, as you're well aware, a new Steinway grand piano.
Oh, that's just such a wonderful addition. Thank you for that.
So we're very excited about those things. New landscaping. And then we plan to do some interior renovations. We have a new dance floor, I should say a refurbished floor in the dance studio as well as Art Studio 1. And then we'll be doing some new things in the galleries as well. So that's coming up. That's coming up.
Big improvements.
We're very excited about the things that we've done and are going to do, and very, very pleased with the support shown by the community. In fact,
I was so happy to serve on that campaign.
Well, thank you.
And just think, 33 years since we had a campaign.
Well, we did one when we did the expansion in the early '90s. So
that's right.
A little over 20 years. But yes, we just celebrated our 32nd anniversary of the center.
Oh, wow.
So
somehow I got an extra year in there.
Well, that's all right. That's perfectly acceptable.
Well, anyway, it's wonderful that the community stepped up. And
Indeed.
So many people. I'm sure we contacted a lot of people and a lot of new ones that didn't really know a lot about the Phipps and hadn't attended events. Yes. And now they're involved too, so that's wonderful. So what's going on this year then for the campaign?
Well, we'll of course have our annual fund campaign in the fall.
Yes.
And then we were so encouraged by the success of the capital campaign that we're looking at increasing our endowment by $1 million. Okay. So right now, for those that aren't familiar, the endowment funds are invested in perpetuity, and then a portion of the earnings on that are used for either general operating expenses or capital improvements. But we'd really like to increase that by $1 million. The community has been extremely supportive, and I believe that that's a goal that we'll be talking about in the very near future.
Oh, I think that's just wonderful. I'm so encouraged. I mean, when you make the phone calls and then you actually have positive support.
Yes, indeed.
That's very, very
That's
nice.
been the case from the beginning. The center, and I was not around at that time, but the center opened knowing full well that it was going to have to program and appeal to the entire St. Croix Valley. And from the very beginning, over half of the patrons have been from Minnesota.
Oh, yes.
And so it's both sides of the river at a time when I don't necessarily think both sides of the river were getting along. I mean, it was more parochial than it is
Oh, yes,
now.
there used to be that feeling.
Yeah, and now I think the river really unites us, and the center has always reached out from Stillwater on down, and then of course. Woodbury has grown so dramatically over those 30
yes, my
years.
goodness, that's been a huge growth area for a lot of things, and so we're drawing from there.
Indeed.
Oh, I really like that too. Now, we haven't talked about the season package with the cruise.
Oh,
You know, I always want to go on that, and I still didn't make it last year. I don't know
well, you
why.
still can.
I can.
So we
because
always,
I think something's coming up in September.
It's true. It's true. We always offer a brunch champagne cruise, lunch cruise with a Sunday matinee, and we do that for the summer production and for the fall production. So Making God Laugh. There's 3 Sundays in September, the 13th, 20th, and 27th, where if you call Afton Hudson Cruise Lines, or you can go online, you can get a package of the brunch and the theater production. And it's great fun, and September, beautiful weather, and the St. Croix is always beautiful.
I think our bad weather's behind us now. I'm talking in August here, so we had some really bad weather, but now I'm thinking on the river, the turning of the leaves.
Yes.
Nice blue skies, and then going to your matinee.
There.
Yeah, that's just a wonderful offering. I think we'll put some information up on our screen about the
Wonderful.
Hudson Cruise Lines, so people can see what that is. And then remember, you can get 3, 5, or 7 event series tickets. And just think, you're saving up to 37%.
It's true.
Only $16 a ticket. Now, occasionally I hear a complaint about the price of a ticket.
What?
Can you imagine? And I just say, well, season tickets, you'll be paying $16.
It really is the way to go. We try to
It is.
We try to offer a discount for students, which is
Right.
usually a dramatic discount, and we include students of all ages, so be they college age or children. We really want to have them participate. Seniors also often get a discount on the Sunday matinees of productions, and then really the best way to go is through the season ticket sales. You can't get a cheaper ticket than that.
I've done it for years, and it certainly works for me. And now you're offering that in the children's theater area as well, so I just tie that in. But I do think that savings is a phenomenal thing. We really need to encourage that.
I appreciate that.
I hope people will definitely, even if it's a 3 event series, I mean, there's always, I usually can find more than 3 myself that I want to go to, but I would definitely go that route.
Well, we were just talking before that I think when you try something that maybe you're not sure about, but if it's on a series ticket, you can give it a try.
Yes.
And often it turns out to be something that you want to see more of. So it's a great way to sample things.
I agree, because I have expanded, being a music person, I certainly want to go to those, but I have expanded a lot into drama, and different, special events you've offered have been very appealing to me. So I definitely agree with you. Now, should I ask my last question, or do you want to talk more about the series?
What's your last question?
It was about the volunteers.
Oh.
We want to attract more people to volunteer.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. Now, and I have to say, first of all, volunteers are extremely supportive of the Phipps Center. So
yes.
We have over 500 volunteers filling 1,000 positions on an annual basis. And I'm not making those figures up or rounding them to the next 100. That's literally true. Last year, I think over 45,000 hours of support was provided by volunteers. So it is a vital component of the center, has been from the beginning. And we are always looking for folks. They can volunteer for any number of activities. So the creation, first of all of our performers are volunteers in our theater productions, our children's theater, the festival chorus, the oratorio society, the dance concerts are all volunteer performers. Then we have the ushers, the ticket takers, the ticket office staff, folks that mail out the brochures and postcards and flyers. Those are all volunteer staff. The folks working in the scene shop, painting, building, the folks working backstage, either on the fly lines or perhaps running sound or lights for the productions. We depend on volunteers in all of those positions. So
Yes.
We'd love to have you if anyone is interested at all in coming down and just chatting about what they might do. We would encourage that.
Yes, I think there's so many opportunities, and I know a lot of people appreciate that free ticket.
Well,
If you're ushering,
yes,
and that's a very popular area there.
it is.
And I see people from many walks of life all over town doing that. So I know it's kind of in demand.
Well, we have 6 or 7 ushers and a house manager for every performance, and there's at least 125 performances throughout the year. So there's ample opportunity
There's
to
a lot
to
of
do that.
need there, so if you're hesitating, definitely give us a call, give them a call and sign up, and we're going to put contact information on the screen.
Thank you.
So we'll put the website and the phone number, and I do know the box office is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30, and Saturday morning from 9 to 12. And I see you there on Saturday mornings.
I'm there quite a few Saturday
Yes.
mornings.
So I think people.
So you take your chances.
People have to call. Definitely, we've got a space for you to do things.
And we also have, as of last year, we have everything online now. So you can actually select your seats online and order them at any time.
Yes.
So that's another option.
Yes. So lots of options, and you'll get lots of information today on the screen. And have we forgotten anything, John?
Bobby, you've covered a wide area. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'm getting to be pretty comfortable with this interview. And it's always enjoyable talking to you, John.
Same here, Bobby.
And I have all the support in the world for you and what you do.
Thank you.
You are just an outstanding administrator over there.
You're very kind.
So thank you for coming today and telling us all about the Phipps
My
series.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. And we hope that you will be calling soon for either tickets or volunteering, and try something new this year. I tend to do that myself every once in a while, and I'm surprised at how much I enjoy things. So please do support the Phipps, and I know you'll enjoy it and find a lot of interesting things to see and do. So thank you for watching today.